Hey, how you doing? I'm Mayana. Thanks for checking out the channel. I'm really glad to see you here. Just because connection is what it's all about, you know? On whatever level. A more casual one like this one, or on a deeper level like when you get in a nice discussion with somebody. In any event, I wanted to talk a little bit today about how I'm continuing to learn things that I used to just block out with alcohol. I was watching this Rob Dial video yesterday, and he said something that really made me feel better about the whole thing. The whole negativity thing that we kind of learn to maintain, especially certain times when we're drinking. The brain wants to ensure our survival. He talked about this. By being a negativity-seeking machine. I think that's beautifully put, because it just makes so much sense, and it brings me some comfort to know that it's a common human experience. I don't think it's a useful thing to worry, but I know I do it from time to time. I usually talk myself out of it, either with a person or to my HP, or just looking in a mirror or something, you know? Sometimes it's writing a song. That's a different subject for another time. You know, I talked in one of my more recent videos, which it's not so recent. It's just been a crazy summer, that's what I'm talking about. I was talking about how I beat down an anxiety attack. And I had to actually utilize that a few times later this summer, too. I mean, my amygdala, the alarm in the brain, it says, danger, danger. You know, it was going off a lot, and a lot of it was based on concepts. I also experienced some emotional maturing, just a little bit, I think, by accepting some ugly truths that I used to drink away. And, you know, I was doing a lot of interviews after having, you know, had the part with the job, and then the second job because of tendonitis. I mean, like, you know, it's really aggravating and, you know, really just, you know, kind of makes me feel insane when I'm going through stuff like that, but then I get a hold of myself, I do my deep breathing, and I do a lot of thinking about, like, people who truly live in third world conditions, and that really helps to get out of any worry that I might be involved in, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you know, when you look at, you know, and I think of the people with floods, earthquakes, what happened in Maui, it's just terrible, you know, so I used to kind of just, like, not even think about stuff like that, and I would be like, you know, well, it doesn't matter because I'm this and I'm entitled to that, like, you know, when I was, like, in my 20s, when I'd be drinking, it's just like, ugh. I hate looking back on it, but I have to because it's the only way I remember. And then it's over and it's okay, and I don't go to the liquor store. Anyway, some of the things that I learned this summer, I know it sounds like really corny, right? But I really trusted someone when he said that he had a job for me. And, I mean, I was really relieved by that the whole summer through till the end of August. It, you know, so I can at least thank him on that level where, you know, it kept me encouraged through the summer. But then when I went back to him and brought it up to him, I realized he was just kind of like not wanting to deal with me. And this is a person who has not treated me with the greatest amount of respect. So I don't know why I expected this person who had been downright nasty to me in a lot of our dealings professionally. I trusted this person to come through on this offer for a job that he made. I mean, he acted like I never said it. Talked to me like I had never worked for him. You know, and it was just like, okay, I know you got a lot on your mind, so, and maybe you were just trying to be nice. But when I first realized that it was BS, I mean, like, I cried, man. I was like, what are you talking about? This is something I've been you offer me a part-time job, and now you act like it doesn't exist, and, I don't know. That was a real heartbreaker for me, but, it made the proper correlation that when people don't always treat you with basic respect and are downright condescending, even if most of your dealings with them are positive, why would I ever trust a person like that again? So that was a good thing to learn. I'm only laughing now because it was a very painful thing to go through, but it's just like, hey, I used to drink all my emotions away, so I am still in my 50s, learning to deal with these emotions. And this is why, if you really, really, really like alcohol and it's starting to F with everything that you do, or if it's bothering people in a way because your behavior changes drastically, my hope is that maybe you won't do that. Maybe you'll try just a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Maybe you'll do, something positive for yourself. Maybe you won't right away. Maybe you'll drink. It's alright, it's not me. I have no control over it. But if I can convince even one person in this world, just by talking about myself and my experiences with alcohol and its many, many consequences, I'm just hoping that maybe one person might not go that route, And by the way, I don't dispense medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am not a psychological professional. I'm just a person with a message that I hope might help somebody, So, there was that. And this is hard for me to talk about. I almost didn't make this video, but I was just like, face that fear. There was this other thing where other people have been offering me, oh, I hear you do this. Could you maybe do this for me? I'm thinking end of August. End of August came. Never heard from these people. Just sometimes people just get an idealistic idea and they comfort you with it. And the guy who was so disrespectful to me before, maybe he thought he was being nice. I'll never know. But it did teach me something about, being more aware and giving my gut more credit and my intellect more credit instead of letting my emotions wash over the whole thing like, oh, it's okay, they're usually good to me. Stuff like that. It's just like, I'm now putting together a psychological profile of people that I know will be toxic to work with and who will be disingenuous. So it's just, I don't know, man. So that was a tough thing to learn. Just people saying they were interested in having me work for them, and then all of a sudden, it just never happened. Oh, I don't have the money, oh, I'm sorry, just perfectly understandable. But, even just a little bit of hope that all those things gave me through the summer, that's pretty cool. So, I ended up doing a lot of house cleaning, which is pretty easy for me, and, just because I was raised doing it, my mom passed away pretty early on, and so I kind of took that role. And, it's good exercise, it's helped me make some money. I recently got a job working at a family corn maze festival. It's a temporary job, but the money is good, and hey, it's something. It's weekends only. 2 of the days got rained out last week, but thanks to a cat sitting gig and a pendant I sold at my store, Ancient Chart Jewelry. Sorry, had to do it. This is the only advertising I can afford, man. But also, I, hope I have, a good message here. But, a little house cleaning, a little cat sitting, a little, selling pendants. It's really true how you don't always get your desires met. However, if you get the things that basically sustain you, that's wonderful. Ooh, gas money. Oh, yes, this. To me, it's a total, stuff like that is a really good workout, especially house cleaning. And then I get paid for it, so. And I like to stay relatively in shape. I've lost 50 pounds as a result of my not consuming alcohol anymore. So, 50 pounds, man. And that's just in drunken bloat and, like, just empty calories and not being able to keep anything down either, which was ironic. So it's just like your body's taking in all these empty calories and storing it up like a surplus of, ugh. You know, it's just terrible. It was a terrible way to feel and to live because it was all just unhealthy bloat, and a lot of it at that. And they told me I have a little fat in my liver still, so I've been careful about that. And, you know. So, some of the realizations that I've come to, besides, you know, people with good intentions and everything, and, you know, how when people behave in a manner that does not befit me at all, like, no reason to have a relationship on any level with people like that. It's just that my resiliency in being able to make some money with some odd jobs and with things that I am lucky enough to be able to create and sell on an online store, something I started 5 years ago, you know, it raised my self-esteem. I lived very frugally this summer, and I've been, you know, quite honestly taking a lot of pride in that. You know, it's just like, oh, well, I can handle this. And I've handled lean times before in my life that were usually the result of having, you know, ruin this job and ruin that job. And, you know, it's just like, I'm sorry, I just got off on a tangent there. But I can't stress that enough. You know, you can really wreck things. But I, you know, do take pride in the fact that I could live pretty frugally. And, there was just one other thing this summer that I really wanted to talk about. I feel, and as I perceive it, that a lot of we as alcoholics, we really are kind of like not only glossing things over by drinking our emotions away, but also just taking things to extremes. I know that I have a tendency to do that with certain things that aren't the best. Like, I like to intermittent fast. I still like to intermittent fast, but I do it a little bit, like only a couple times, maybe a few times during the week. I was eating one meal a day for a while because I was so stressed out about the job situation. You know, and the other thing with alcohol as it relates to that is, you know, I always think of it as, gee, instant gratification. I, as an alcoholic, you know, who wasn't drinking, I still am looking for the IG, man. Instant gratification, instant solution, instant this. You know, and I really observed this impatience within myself based on instant gratification and conditioning ourselves that way, conditioning myself that way. Instant solution, you know. And I got so stressed out over this stuff that I had little control over, like whether or not I could work in a specific place, or whether or not this person wasn't going to come through with a job or whatever. I, you know, got to a point where I ate so little over a couple of days that I went through this hellish thing for the next, like, 24 hours where I couldn't sleep. I was shaking. I was just extremely tense. Very uncomfortable. I tried walking it up. I tried doing this and that. I just basically had to keep going around and moving around a little bit and putting my energy into, say, walking the dogs. Or putting my energy into, you know, taking care of the plants and the food that we grow here. You know, I just had to kind of deal with that feeling, and it was terrible. And I would never wish that feeling on anybody, but I just got that anxious to the point where I had to pay the price. Like, my body was sending these strong signals, don't do that. Need more fuel, don't do that. Oh, man. And that's something that you just want to avoid at all costs. Or things like if you smoking too many cigarettes. Or eating too much food. Eating too much junk food in general. You know, we can just take things all kinds of ways to all kinds of extremes to the point where it's like, all of a sudden, we're hurting ourselves again. So I think that's an important thing to take note of is the nutritional aspect. What our body needs, especially a body that, as an alcoholic, I was trying to repair. You know, it needs more, especially as I'm getting older. It just needs a little more of the right kind of fuel. So, in any event, like I say, it was very hard for me to put this together, but I felt a need to. Even just for my own progress as a human being. But in any event, like I say, I'm not giving out advice as much as I am maybe trying to warn people a little bit of what can happen, so that maybe you'll, you know, whoever you may be, or you as in general is how I mean it, keep things as balanced as possible. Alright, thanks so much. Talk to you soon.